What's up, guys? The Snowman here. Welcome inside the Snowman Sports Studios. Today we're talking some hoops. It was a very compact yet very eventful NBA offseason. Today I wanted to go over all of the important moves that took place, the trades, the free agent signings, new head coaches in new places as well. Basically just get you prepared for the new NBA season that is just right around the corner. So here's my recap for all 30 NBA teams' unique offseason. So let's start off with the Western Conference Pacific Division, beginning with the defending champs, the LA Lakers, maybe the biggest winners from this offseason, replacing Dwight Howard with reigning Sixth Man of the Year Montrezl Harrell, Rondo with Sixth Man runner-up Dennis Schroeder, JaVale for Marc Gasol, and they gained some toughness and three-point shooting in the form of Wesley Matthews. The Lakers seem poised to contend for a second straight title. The other team in LA, the Clippers, pulled the ripcord on Doc Rivers after his third blown 3-1 series lead as a head coach. They promoted Ty Lue internally. We mentioned Montrezl Harrell going next door to the Lakers. They swapped him out for Serge Ibaka, along with retooling through Nick Batum and Luke Kennard. Moving to Golden State, just when things were starting to look up again for the Warriors, they draft James Wiseman, sign Kent Bazemore, and trade for Kelly Oubre. A colossal snag occurs in the form of Klay Thompson's Achilles injury. Klay being out for the entire season deals a massive blow to the Dubs title hopes. There's plenty of buzz in Phoenix, though. Not only did the Suns go 8-0 in the bubble this summer, just narrowly missing out on the playoffs, but now they add the point guard Chris Paul to hopefully form a legitimate big three with CP3, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. Jay Crowder was signed in free agency to mitigate the losses of Oubre and Ricky Rubio. And the Kings are excited about their potential steal of the draft, nabbing versatile point guard Tyrese Halliburton at 12th overall. De'Aaron Fox was extended, Hassan Whiteside was signed, but gone from Sacramento are Bazemore, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Harry Giles. In the Northwest, the Nuggets are looking for another deep run in the West, but Denver took a real hit losing Jeremy Grant, Torrey Craig, and Mason Plumlee. They did offset some of the defense and toughness lost by signing JaMychal Green, but the Nuggets may not be as deep as they were last season. Looking at the Timberwolves, a new big three may be in town as the number 1 overall draft pick Anthony Edwards joins Cat and D'Angelo Russell. Minnesota traded for familiar point guard Ricky Rubio to add some veteran leadership to help stabilize the surplus of young talent. And then we go to the ultimate sellers of the offseason, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who've now stockpiled 17 first-round draft picks through 2026, thanks to some innovative moves by general manager Sam Presti. They traded Chris Paul, Schroeder, and Steven Adams, took on some bad contracts like Al Horford and Trevor Ariza, and not many can say their future is brighter thanks to all the draft capital in OKC. There's never a ton of fanfare in Portland, but the Blazers quietly got better. Ariza, their only key loss, but they more than made up for it by trading for Robert Covington from Houston, also bolstering their bench with the acquisitions of Enes Kanter and Derek Jones. And the Jazz were able to keep their team mostly intact as they run it back this year. Derek Favors, who played 8 years in Utah, is back with the Jazz now to make up for the departures of Ed Davis and Tony Bradley. In the Southwest Division, plenty of optimism surrounding the Mavericks this season. They traded Seth Curry to Philly to pair Luka with a backcourt mate who will add valuable defense in Josh Richardson. Justin Jackson and DeLon Wright are gone, but Dallas reloaded with guys like James Johnson and Wes Iwundu. A tumultuous offseason then in Houston. GM Daryl Morey and head coach Mike D'Antoni are out. Steven Silas is in, and the Rockets have made huge headlines recently, partly because of the blockbuster trade that sent Russell Westbrook to D.C. and John Wall to H-Town, and partly because the odds seem to be increasing every day that James Harden won't finish this season as a Rocket. They also added Christian Wood and DeMarcus Cousins. 2 new pieces are in New Orleans, both extremely physical players in Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams. Stan Van Gundy will be in charge of steering the Pelicans back to the postseason. And sure, Drew Holiday is gone, but they believe they have their young core now for the future after extending Brandon Ingram. As for Memphis, they'll largely look the same roster-wise as they did last season. No major signings. They did trade for Mario Hezonja, though, to make up for the loss of Josh Jackson. And the continuity is bountiful in San Antonio. They're returning basically everyone except Bryn Forbes, who's in Milwaukee, and Marco Bellinelli, who went back to Italy. Greg Popovich's team will be up against it in a loaded Western Conference. They selected Devin Vassell 11th overall the Spurs' highest draft pick since Tim Duncan back in 1997. Switching over to the Eastern Conference now, Southeast Division, the Atlanta Hawks added some weapons around Trae Young with Danilo Gallinari, Chris Dunn, and 2020 NBA champion Rajon Rondo, while also drafting Onyeka Okongwu from USC, a real modern defensive big. Charlotte made a splash when they drafted the third Ball brother LaMelo, third overall in this year's draft. He'll be given the keys to run the show in the Queen City, while the Hornets also locked down Gordon Hayward for 4 years and $120 million. Down in South Beach, fans should be smiling coming off Miami's sixth finals appearance in franchise history. The Heat retooled with vets like Mo Harkless and Avery Bradley. Precious Achiuwa was their first-round draft choice, so the Heat will hope for another deep run, although Jay Crowder is gone to Phoenix. For the Magic, just some minor tweaks. DJ Augustine and Wes Iwundu are no longer in Orlando, but they did sign free agent Dwayne Bacon and draft Cole Anthony, son of ex-player and broadcaster Greg Anthony. And then fun times in the nation's capital as the Wizards pulled the trigger on a trade over a week ago. Out goes longtime point guard John Wall, and in comes Russell Westbrook, who may be a better, at least more healthy version of Wall. They re-signed Davis Bertans and picked up Robin Lopez as the Wizards aim to make a playoff push in 2021. In the Atlantic Division, although the Boston Celtics parted ways with snake-bitten Gordon Hayward, Tristan Thompson should shore up the defensive interior if Boston has to go through Milwaukee or Miami in the playoffs again. Also, don't overlook the addition of 11-year veteran Jeff Teague. Not too much noise for the Nets this offseason in terms of transactions, although they do remain in the James Harden sweepstakes. Jeff Green, Landry Shamet, and Bruce Brown are all wings who can add situational value. Re-signing Joe Harris was imperative as well for first-year head coach Steve Nash's squad. And what can you say about the New York Knicks? Their fans now latching onto a new prospective star in Obi Toppin, the draft pick from Dayton. A nice assemblage of free agent acquisitions in Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, and Austin Rivers. But Tom Thibodeau has his work cut out for him in Gotham City. Meanwhile, the 76ers moved on from Brett Brown after 7 seasons. They brought in Doc Rivers to coach a very talented roster. New GM Daryl Morey got busy right away, adding more shooting by trading Josh Richardson for Seth Curry. Philly also exchanging Al Horford for Danny Green and signing Dwight Howard fresh off his first title in LA. And over in Toronto, the Raptors lost a pair of beloved champion big men in Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka. Their replacements, Aaron Baines from Phoenix and Alex Len from Sacramento. DeAndre Bembry, another signing from the Hawks as well. And the last 5 teams from the Central Division, Billy Donovan, the new head coach of the Chicago Bulls, who were relatively stagnant this offseason, losing Chris Dunn but bringing Garrett Temple into the fold. Chicago using their 4th overall pick in the draft to select FSU's Patrick Williams. A litany of moving pieces in Cleveland, where the Cavs lost longtime big man Tristan Thompson to the Celtics, also dealing Jordan Bell and Alfonso McKinney, but adding JaVale McGee, Thon Maker, and Isaac Okoro via the draft. The Pistons were one of the busiest teams this fall, parting ways with a bevy of players including Christian Wood, Thon Maker, and Luke Kennard. They made room for new acquisitions Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee, and Jahlil Okafor. 7th overall pick Killian Hayes should provide some much-needed scoring from the guard position. The Pacers had a low-key offseason, but did become one of 10 NBA teams to change their head coach since the start of last season. Nate McMillan is out. Former Raptors assistant Nate Bjorkgren is in. And finally, it was some major drama in Milwaukee over the break as the Bucks now infamously botched the signing of Bogdan Bogdanovic. They did manage a nice haul from the Pelicans, though, by bringing in Drew Holiday along with DJ Augustine and Bobby Portis. Bledsoe, George Hill, and Korver are out as the Bucks are definitely in win-now mode. They would have preferred for Giannis to sign an extension over the offseason, but now it looks like they'll have to sweat out his impending free agency all year long. All right, so hopefully this gave you a better idea of all the transactions that have taken place over the last couple of months, get you ready for the season, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it or found it informational, please like and subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media for more basketball content. Be on the lookout for my NBA season preview as well, and thanks a lot for watching. Cheers!